Okay, guys, let's go. I'm now working with my two monitors, and I have the third monitor there where you can ask your question. Next to me is sitting my friend, so he will send the questions. So during the webinar, I will answer also your question. Feel free. Anytime you have a question, just right there. I will find the time and answer it, of course. Okay, super. We go. Anan is here, Bobby is here. Hey guys, so we go. So what are the best opening? This is the common question many amateurs ask. A common question that you can find in all chess groups and in all forums. I checked in chess.com, in Lichess, like in biggest chess websites, and I saw this topic so many times. And I remember when we just created this ChessMood group, ChessMood community, which soon transformed to ChessMood family. The first questions all the time it's happened: what are the best openings? Is Grigoryan good or bad, or Sicilian is good or bad? So it took a time when I wrote some article about it, and it seems everything became clear. Later, even later, very often we got this question: what are the best openings? I just didn't approve in our group because I want to keep the content fresh and valuable for all of you. But still, this topic was coming and coming. So I hope this is gonna be last time. So this will be last day of confusion. So this question: what are the best opening? At first glance, this question seems not a good one, yeah? As there are so many openings in chess, and if there was an exact answer to it, what are the best opening? What do you think? All the world top players would play only that once, right? So there is no such a thing. What are the best openings? All openings are playable, but there is a big but. If we simply add a few words to this question, it will transform into a reasonable and a very important one. We just a little bit change this question: what are the best openings? So I will show you a few examples. Later you can find so many of them. Here, let's go. So I will bring you a few examples. So the first example, not what are the best openings, but what are the best openings for my aggressive style? So this is a good question. If you play aggressive chess, this is a good question that if you answer right to this question, you will play a totally different chess. So let me bring you a board. Okay, I will change this. So you can ask, I have aggressive style. What do you think? What is the best for me, e4 or d4? This is a reasonable one, because most of the time after e4 you get more sharp and aggressive positions rather than after d4. Yeah. Let's continue. Let's say your opponent play e5. Yeah. Now you can ask a good question again. After e5, what is the best opening you can go? Is it Ruy Lopez? Like after knight f3, knight c6, is it Ruy Lopez? And after a6, bishop a4, knight f6 are going to Ruy Lopez main lines, or after knight f6, castle, knight e4, yeah, going to main line with d4, knight d6, take d5, and knight f5 going to Berlin endgame, yeah. This is bishop b5 gonna be for more positional styles. But if you are aggressive player, here definitely the right answer gonna be d4 and going to Scotch game, the favorite opening of Garry Kasparov. So here is more sharp everything. This fits much better for you if you are an aggressive player. And the same is if you are a positional player, bishop b5, it's gonna be better. Just important note here, one moment. It's important to learn to play chess with both of them. You cannot play. You cannot be just positional player, but very weak when it's about sharp positions, and the same if you are aggressive player, you cannot be very weak positional. So it's good point to be good in both of them, but it's okay to have some strong plays. So you know both of them, you are good in both of them, but positional game, it's more dear to your heart, you feel much better there. So here was a good question, yeah? What is the best openings that you can go, Scotch or Roy Lopez? But it's gonna be just for you, because if you speak about this question just broad, what are the best, there is no such answer, what are the best. But for your style, for aggressive style, it's gonna be there gonna be answer, it's gonna be Scotch. Let's continue, let's say e4, c5. So again, what to go, what is the best continuations after e4, c5? Now if you are an aggressive player, definitely you are going to play knight f3, d4, and going to main lines and playing some complicated lines and sharp positions. And the same if you are a positional player, probably you will prefer c3 line. Let's go to for black. If you ask just a question, what is the best opening against d4? This is probably not a good question. But if you ask what is the best opening against d4, if I like more aggressive one, if I like going to sharp position and complicate everything, here there will be some answer like King's Indian, going to favorite of Bobby Fischer's and Charles and many world champions, favorite King's Indian, or going to some modern Benoni, maybe c5, d5, e6, or going to Grunfeld. And the same if you are like more positional approach, probably the best answer for you gonna be Nimzo Indian, or going to Queen's Gambit or accepted Queen's Gambit, yeah? So here if you ask what are the best opening for your style, here there may be a good answer for you. Now you see the difference, yeah, I hope. So always you should ask best opening for yourself, for your style. Is your style aggressive or is your style positional style? So let's go to the next example. What are the best opening when playing against an aggressive opponent? So it's gonna be very clear, very similar to the previous one. So let's say your opponent plays e4 and he is very aggressive player. And of course, at first we should assume that you are multi-style player, because if you are aggressive player and just because of that is that your opponent is aggressive player, you cannot go to the place when you feel weak. So if you're aggressive player, you should continue to go to your waters, let's say, yeah, and to feel like fish in the water. But if you are multi-style player, you can go to both of them. You can go to positional play and you can go to aggressive approach. So after e4, of course, if your opponent is aggressive one, you probably will go to e5 to Roy Lopez, or you will go to c6. If you play all of them, if you have choice. I don't speak about the time when you just play Sicilian or you just play French defense. I speak about when you have choice, go to e5 or c5. And the same, if your opponent is positional player, probably the best answer here would be for you to go to c5, right? So I will bring some more example. Let's say you are playing with white pieces and you play d4 line. And let's say your opponent, again aggressive opponent. So c4 he plays King's Indian lines. There are many lines here for white. But if your opponent hates endings, is very weak in positional game, after e5, instead of going to sharp lines, maybe it's gonna be good idea to take d5 and go to ending. So this is not about what is the best opening, this is about what is the best line. So this is gonna be very playable one. So this was the second example. It was what are the best openings when playing against an opponent. And then we ask our opponent is aggressive one or our opponent is positional player. Let's go to the next example. So not just what are the best openings, but what are the best opening in those cases when the only result we need is a win, and if draw you lose the match. Yeah, interesting question. So I give you some question and I would like to hear your answers. So what do you think, guys, after e4 going to g6 move, g6 and then trying to go to pierce of himself with bishop g7, d6, Is this a good opening or this is a bad opening? So I will wait for your answers. Please answer in the chat. I will read them, and then after that I will continue the topic. So on the third monitor I will check your answers. Okay, let's go back. So e4 g6 is a little bit suspicious opening, and you can see that in high level tournaments not often you will see this g6 line because it's give the opening. It's of course playable one, but to anyone who says that g6 is not a good opening, and Berlin variation of Ruy Lopez line, this one, knight f6 castle, knight e4, very solid one, favorite one of Kramnik, the opening which he beat Kasparov in the match. So knight f5 one, or someone who says that after c5, knight f3, d6, going to Najdorf, saying that Najdorf is much better one than going to e4 g6. Here I can give you a question. So here was it. What if now the only result was the one that you need a win? Yeah. So let's go to the board. When e4, e5 favorite opening of Kramnik, Berlin is a very solid one. Well, let's say the only result when you need for black is to win. What do you think? Is this gonna be a good opening or not? So it's dramatically changed everything. While this was very solid opening, suddenly when the only result you need is the win, so let's say it's knockout tournament and you kick out from the tournament, if it's a draw, suddenly this become a bad line. The same if Najdorf, yeah, very solid aggressive line. But especially in the top level, when people know very well theory, it's gonna be very hard to play this Najdorf. Why? Because everyone has big analysis there, and in very often after a6, white the game finishes with draw. Sometimes in 20 moves preparatory check and so on. So because of that, you can see in, especially in World Cup tournaments when it's knockout, you can very often see that the first there is two games, yeah. In the first game white loses, and the second game after e4 he go g6. Why he go g6? Why he goes such a suspicious opening while his main opening was something e5 or c6, yeah? Because he agree to give some advantage to white, but with g6 he avoid all the time from draws, which can occur after c6 and getting some easy positions. With g6, black going to some suspicious things, but they are trying to get the game to complicated approach. So here again, it was the third example when it's knockout tournament, or let's say it's their last round, and the only result that is fit you is to win the game. Everything here changing very much. So let's continue. If you have any question, I will answer right now. I saw a question about Latvian opening. I will answer at the end, Bobby. like the broad questions, I will answer all of them at the end. If right now whatever I am explaining about these topics you have some questions, I will answer right now. Other everyone, I will answer at the end of this presentation, at the end of the webinar. Yeah, but yeah, guys, you are right. In Berlin, there are many drawish lines. So because of that, Berlin, while it was a very solid one, suddenly when the only result we need is a win, suddenly Berlin becomes a bad opening. Yeah. So it was about cases. The case can change everything very much. Okay. Let's continue. Now let's assume you just start your chess career. I will go back and to this slide. You just start your chess career and you don't have any style. You are just a beginner. You are not feeling. You don't know which positions you feel better. Do you feel better in positional style, in positional games, or do you feel better in aggressive positions? Yeah, you don't know. So from somewhere you should start. So yeah, when you just start the journey, there are many other important things rather than opening. It's just to learn to give a checkmate with king queen against king, right? Or king rook against rook. This is more important than opening. Or you need to solve lots of puzzles. You need to solve lots of checkmates in one move. Yeah, every one of us, when we was just a beginner, it was our approach. But sooner or late, it will come the day when you will need openings. So from where to start? The common question now arises, like e4 or d4. A very common question. You just started to play chess, and you see, okay, what do I go? E4, d4. Especially if you go to Google it, e4 or d4, you can find so many articles or so many videos. So you will get confused. What are the best? So during your first steps of chess journey, it's very essential to have a good coach. It's essential to have a good books, and definitely to play such openings that will help you to get in chess insights faster. So it's very, very important. The next one, strong foundation. What is this? So in the photo you can see, if the first floor of the building is weak, you can build 2 or maximum 3 floor house, right? And but for building skyscrapers, it's essential to have a very, very strong foundation. The same is in chess. If you want to get just 1500 level, you may need just some tricky openings, some tricky lines with traps, and it will fit very well for getting just 1000 elo or just 1500 elo. But if you want to get 2000 or even higher or become a grandmaster, you need to play right openings. So if I ask you a question, what skills do you need to become a grandmaster? What your answer will be? I would love to hear your answers. What skills do we need to become a grandmaster? So in the chat, I will check your what do you think about this? Okay, let's go. Probably for becoming grandmaster, you will need talent. Yeah, you will need coach, good coach. You will need support. You will need hard work. But there is a topic that very often is underestimated, and it's the foundation. It's strong foundation. We can divide it, strong foundation, into 3 questions. So the first question is, who was your first coach? This is a very important question. So one moment I had a student with whom it was very hard to work, because his first coach taught him that after e4, e6, d4, d5, take, the best move here for white is queen e2. Of course, like, you may confuse what is this queen e2 instead of developing pieces queen e2, yeah. And how that coach explained him, he said, because after queen e7 you can change the queens, and when you change the queens it's better for white. Yeah, totally stupidness, but because of that, that guy unfortunately worked with that student, with that coach, more than 1 year. After 1 year, any position I was showing him, he was trying to change the queens. Anytime there was a chance to change a queen, he was changing the queen, yeah? So you can see how bad foundation he has. And for me, it would be much better if he didn't have any coach, if he started everything from scratch. So let's say here, yeah, foundation. Let's say here is a building, and the first foundation is very weak, and you try to build the 3rd floor, and you feel that okay, you cannot anymore to build the 4th floor, yeah. The only way would be, which one? It will be to totally crash everything and start from scratch. But unfortunately in chess you cannot start from scratch. So because of that, here it's so important who was your first coach for the right foundation. Yeah, I was lucky, I had very good coach, so my foundation was okay. But many people fail because of this. They were very talented, they had lots of resources, but because of their first coach didn't put a good foundation, they had problems in future. The second gonna be about foundation. From where do you learn? Do you learn from books? Do you learn from videos? This is also important, and unfortunately, online right now in chess there are so many not trustworthy sources. Few weeks ago, sorry, I saw one of guys asked me something about English opening, and the answer he said me, I was shocked. He showed me that he knew that the best move here is f4. And when I asked why this is f4, he showed me some video in YouTube when some guy, even not master, saying that the best move here is f4 because it's the most important square here is e5, because when we go e4, black plays e5, so when we go f4, black cannot play anymore e5, some stupid thing like this. So f4 is the best move. And when you go knight f3, the pawn is on f2. So when we go f4, the next move it will come knight f3. And then, and then explaining like f4 crush your opponents with f4. So whenever your opponent is on f4, it's very good for you. So this was foundation for that guy, who was thinking that anytime it's good to put the pawn on f4. So when he asked me about some question about English opening, it was the position like this, d4, yeah. So I was asking him about my topic was to develop pieces, so I wanted that he tell me knight c3 move. You know what the move he told me? Now you guess, yeah. He said like, I think the best move f4, yeah. Of course this is because of a wrong foundation. People can think that okay, such a move f4 is good, and let's say someone don't know that how to start the game, that it's important to fight for the center, that it's important to develop the pieces, yeah. But instead of this, his foundation is to start the game with g3, bishop g2, then knight f3, then castle, and slowly go, yeah. The foundation gonna be very weak. So it was the second one. Let's go to the third one, and we come here to our important one. What are the openings you play? So if you start your chess career with this knight f3 and going to g3, bishop g2, castle, later it will be very hard for you to play in sharp open positions. Or if all your life, let's say after d4, you used to play f5, and after c4 you all your life you played e6 and d5, c6 and going to stonewall. Again, what you will learn, okay, you will play very good positional chess probably, but it will be very hard for you to play open positions. So it's very important to play principal lines, like we go e4 here, and then we are ready for both of them. We are ready for positional one, we are ready for sharp position. If we need, we go to attack. If we need, we change the queen. But after we go something like knight f3, g3, later it's gonna be very hard, yeah, to get in our sharp positions. But what we do with e4 or with d4, later after that make any kind of position. And when we play any kind of position, we develop our skills in all levels of chess. So it was the importance. It's here. It was important. What are the openings you play? So I will tell you few words about myself. Yeah, I became a grandmaster. I had a good coach. I had the good sources from where to learn, and I had the good openings to start my chess career. So eventually I became a grandmaster. But when I got 2600 elo level, it was around 8 years ago, I felt it's hard for me to move on. This was one of the problems that now my answer probably will confuse you. But when I get 2600 elo level, I felt for me it's hard to continue my race, because all my life I didn't play Sicilian positions. So for white, most of the time I was playing d4. I was d4 player, and after e4 most of my life I played e6 French, and then I moved to e5. But all my life I didn't play c5. And because of that, you can imagine how hard for me was to develop my skills in sharp positions. Also against d4 I played many openings, but I failed to play this Grunfeld, which I think this is the best line for beginners, because after Grunfeld there occurs any kind of position. Sometimes you are pawn up, sometimes you are pawn down, sometimes there are open lines, sometimes you are exchanged down but have compensation, 2 pawns or very active pieces. So because of that, I felt like it's hard for me to become 2700 player. So one moment I realized this, and I tried to learn this. Oops, sorry. I tried to learn Sicilian. I tried to learn Grunfeld. I started to play e4 with white, but it was not easy. Now the same if you decide today become an athlete, and it will be very hard, right? Our body is already shaped. It will be very hard to us to reshape it. If he's a kid, for kid is much easier, yeah, for his body. The same is in chess. Then some moment I felt I enjoy being a coach, and as my goal was to be a top coach, not just a coach who was just coaching and leaving. My goal was to become a top coach. I understand that for preparing students who will become in top 10 in the world, who will become 2700 elo players, it's important that they learn Sicilian defense for both colors, for white, for black. They learn Grunfeld. So I started to learn myself all of them. So when I was just playing professional chess, I didn't play that openings. But when I became coach and I was preparing students who will become grandmasters and become 2700 elo players, I realized importance of this, and myself I started to learn these openings. So you can see how important these three factors was. So because of this, what are the openings you play? Yeah, my openings was good, my foundation was good, but my foundation was good to become 2600 elo. I felt like I needed another openings. So the same as you build a building, yeah, your foundation may be a very good one, so you can build a 12 floors building, yeah, but maybe it's not enough for 24 floors building. Okay, now we move to the fourth example. Yeah, what are the best openings? The fourth one gonna be, what are the best openings for crushing 1000 elo, 2000 elo, or 2400 elo players? So again, let's move to the board. So if you want just to become 1500 player, or you just want to crush 1500 players, soon probably I will do one stream and showing you this live. Here probably the best will be for crushing this gonna be something like knight f3, c6, go d4, go c3 maybe, and bishop c4, or maybe here bishop c4, knight f6, e5, and people will be confused because of this, and very easy you will just crush against with these openings. Or okay, Bobby asked me a question about Latvian gambit, yeah, about f5. If you play against 1000 elo player or 1500 elo player, this may be a good weapon, but it's not good for 2000 elo players, especially if you play against 2200 or 2300 elo player. So it's important to get your goal. What's your goal? If you want to become just 1000 elo player, probably to play just some tricky lines like this, it's gonna fit wonderful. But if you want to grow to get 2000 elo level, you need something more fundamental. So if I stream my opponents are 1000 elo level, probably I will go something like this and d4, take and bishop c4, going to some gambit, or even e4, e5, f4. Yeah, f4 also fine, works fine against 1000 elo player. Yeah, it's works fine for 1000 elo player, but it will not work for players whose elo is around 2200, 300, who knows a little bit theory. So against this player, I will go knight f3, knight c6, I will go to d4 probably, or bishop b5 and going to slow game. But d4, this is I have found many trendy lines here, which I provided in the courses of ChessMood. So probably I will go to d4. And the good thing of d4, this is good for crushing 1500 elo players, it's good for crushing 2000 elo, it's good for crushing 2300 elo. Because of what? Because this is very fundamental. It's not just a tricky line, it's not just some line that if black knows it, you will be in trouble and you will have a bad position. It's very fundamental one. And what we provided in video courses, our goal was not to provide openings for crashing 1000 elo player or 1500 elo player. We tried to provide best openings for crashing, for getting 2000 elo level, but which will be a good openings to start and continue if your goal is to become 2400, 2500 elo. So we tried to find for you fundamental one. This is important, so all your chess career you play fundamental one. Sometimes after e4, yeah, let's say with black, we offered Sicilian. It is aggressive line, and we believe this is very good to start your chess career. But if you play c6 or e6, it's fine too. I don't say anything about that. It's just a topic that you play something fundamental. So Bobby, if you play knight f3, f5, okay, it's a good weapon until you play against 1000 or 1500 elo player, but it's not good if you move on. So here is the thing, you need something fundamental. Coming back again to our question, what are the best openings? All openings are good. Almost all openings. Just learn a fundamental opening. Don't learn some just tricky lines. Try to learn fundamental ones. And the most important question here: try to learn from trustworthy sources. This is very important, because right now, unfortunately, very unfortunately, in chess world, in online chess, there are so many not trustworthy sources. People are just making videos and selling in Udemy or YouTube or somewhere else. So they are showing what they know. Someone probably the only line he know is Latvian Gambit or the D5 Gambit, yeah, and this is the only line he knows. And what he is doing, he's making a video, doing a little bit marketing, writing them. There are some good words. I'm sure you have seen this many times, and just selling this. And unfortunately, many chess players see this, read good words like crush this and go, let's say, e4, c5, crush Sicilian with b4, or crush Sicilian with b4 in 30 minutes, or learn how to crush Sicilian in 30 minutes. People very happily learn this, learn from not trustworthy sources, and when they develop their skills from 500 elo, they become 1000 or 1500 elo, they started to gain some problems. It's very important to learn from trustworthy sources. Around 1 week ago, I got a very funny message. One of chess lovers, he asked me, why do you in your courses you offer such a bad opening as coach game? So the openings that all live Kasparov plays, it's happened in all top levels. So the guy asked me a question, why you provide such a bad opening? So I asked him, why do you think that coach gambit is bad? And he said, because you know there is e4, knight d4, and queen h4, a very strong move, and white has problems. So of course I understand what's up there. Of course he watched some videos somewhere, and when I asked the source when he saw this, what I found again after saw queen h4, very strong move, very tricky move. e4 is hanging. We cannot play f3. We cannot protect the e4 pawn with queen f3 because knight d4 will be. We also cannot play bishop d3 because knight d4. The only move here is knight c3, and then we go bishop b4 and then attacking the center, so we are just crushing the Scotch game. So guys, now you know the secret how to crush Scotch game and something like this. So probably you have seen such videos in many cases. And when I watched that video, of course, after was not telling about this knight b5 move, a strong move which I explained in the video course of Scotch game. And after queen e4, bishop e2, so queen g2 will be just bishop f3, protecting the h1 rook and attacking the queen. Next move, knight c7 is coming. And suddenly after bishop e2, the only move, the only normal move to protect the c7 pawn is to play king d8. King d8, and after castle, our opponent king is in the center, and despite of the fact that we are pawn down, knight c3, bishop f3 is coming, also our opponent queen is only 4. So in real, white has very big advantage. But of course, what's happening? Author, of course, not telling about knight b5 move, is just showing some tricky lines with this in this 30 minutes and saying crash the Scotch game. And unfortunately, many chess lovers, people who love this game, who want to improve their skills, they learn from such a not trustworthy sources. So this is why, by the way, this was one of the reasons why I created this ChessMood community. I wanted to make the end of this unfairness. I wanted to create some platform where their courses will be only with very high quality. Right now, many grandmasters are writing me and asking if they can also create some video courses for ChessMood. I say, okay, I'm fine with this if you can provide a really high quality video. And when I explain them how high quality I need, how deep analysis I need at first to see, so I be sure that the people of ChessMood community, they get only high quality content, This was my goal when I created this ChessMood. So it's fine, I'm not telling you, and I'm not doing some marketing, learn only in ChessMood. Okay, there are other good places where you can learn, but try to learn from trustworthy sources. So I'm fine if you find somewhere some course. You can just post a question in our ChessMood group and tag me in that question and ask, hey Grigoryan, what do you think about this course? I found this course in this website, what do you think? Or I have this video, what do you think? Is it good or bad? Yeah, I'm fine with this, but just ask someone. If not me, ask someone professional and what he thinks. I encourage you to learn from trustworthy sources, because if you learn from not trustworthy ones, some bad openings, it will come one moment when you develop your skills and you meet stronger players, and then what will happen? They will beat you and you will not like chess anymore like you learned, like you loved before. One more typical question is a French good defense or not? This is again typical question: is French good defense, or is a Caro-Kann good defense or not? This question you can meet again very often in groups or in chess forums. Myself, I became grandmaster with playing only French for black. So French, of course, French, Caro-Kann, all kind of these fundamental openings are good ones. You will meet them rare in top level. If you watch tournaments like Vacanza, Linares, and when top players are playing, yeah, you will meet French rare. But what's the reason why you will meet French rare? Because people have very, very, very big analysis against here, and in some places with that very, very, very big analysis, they may get plus 20 advantage, and because of that they think e6 is hard. But what do you think? For a human being, how it will be? It will be very hard to remember all this stuff. Okay, first I will show you few of my analysis in French. Let me see, where is it? I don't see your French. Okay, I just open it. Yeah, chess coach. French. So here I have so many lines, and okay, I randomly open someone. I open Mike Getchon. Mike Getchon is again was a long time one of my favorite line, and what I want to show you, I want to show how big analysis have grandmasters. And I will show you how big is my analysis, so you can imagine how big is analysis of players who are professionally playing in 2700 LO level. Yeah, so this is not French, this all analysis. It's just this line: e4, e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5. There are many lines here: d4, bishop e4. So in this file is just bishop b4 line. Here you can see how big is this everything. If I scroll down, it will take a few minutes to see all of this analysis. So this is analysis of a grandmaster who is LO is just less than 2600 right now. Okay, I had this analysis when I had 600 LO. So can you imagine what analysis had 2700 LO professional players? It's probably around 10 times bigger of this. And because they have this analysis, they think, okay, French is not the best one because they can remember all of this stuff and get plus 20 advantage. So comparing to, let's say, Berlin endgame, where they absolutely don't get any advantage, they think comparing to this, French is not a good opening. But okay, this may be not good opening for such a high elo, for such a high level. It's maybe bad opening for Carlsen or Caruana. But for just players whose elo is less than 2600, any kind of opening, fundamental opening, French, Caro-Kann, Sicilian, any kind of Sicilian almost, or with against d4, any kind of fundamental opening, King's Indian, Grunfeld, Queen's Gambit, everyone fits well. Everyone, it's not just bad opening, yeah. For some level, it's maybe not good. For Carlsen, it's different level. But for anyone, if you want just to get 2000 elo level, 2200 elo level, any kind of these openings are fine. Just you need to find fundamental opening and to learn from trustworthy sources. The last thing that came to my mind was what can I do for you? Before watching your questions in the YouTube, which I will answer them, it came to my mind probably many of you before coming to ChessMood community, before showing the video courses, opening video courses, the opening step-by-step openings that we provide you. Probably you were playing some different openings. Some of you probably were playing Caro-Kann or French or so on. Yeah. So what can we do? When I was thinking, what can I do for you? So today or tomorrow, I will create a post in ChessMood, closed group, not in ChessMood Pro group, in ChessMood, just in ChessMood group. I will create a post where you can write that you are playing, let's say, against e4 Caro-Kann. What do you think? Is it a good opening or bad? So one detail, if you just write you play Caro-Kann, is it a good or bad? It's not a good question. But if you write against e4 you are a positional player and you play Caro-Kann, is it a good or bad? This is a good question which I will answer. So please, how you give the questions in that post is what openings you play and what is your style. This will already be a good question. It's not just what are the best openings. You will ask what is it a good opening or bad when my style is this. Okay, so tomorrow I will create a post in ChessMood. Yeah, anyone, if you hear if you watch this webinar, if you are joining us now and you are not a member of ChessMood, you can sign up in our website, or also just go to Facebook and just write ChessMood. You will find our closed group. Just send request, I will approve it. And under the last post, which I will open it today, you can write what opening do you play, and me or my Grandmaster friend will share their thoughts. Yeah, but also right now I will answer your question in YouTube. So that's all. Thank you. So see you soon. And before saying you goodbye, I will check your questions and I will answer them. Okay, maybe I will open YouTube one, but I will hear my voice, right? Okay. Okay. John? Akarsz kompetálni, nem úgy? Csatharszkar? Okay, let's go. Bobby, I answered the question about the Latvian opening. So it's okay if your goal is just to become 1000 elo player, but if you want to improve, you need something fundamental. So you can just go to ChessMood. If you don't know where to learn, you can just go to ChessMood, and in courses section you can find Sicilian, and it's very fundamental and good one to start your chess career. What do I think about bishop a5 in win-hour? Bishop a5, myself, when I was playing still professional chess, I used to play this bishop a5 line very often. If it's even it was called Armenian line, bishop a5, because many Armenian grandmasters used to play this bishop f5. Then somehow the white finds some good continuations, and white was getting advantage. But last year there was improvements for black in Winawer, so right now that Winawer line with bishop a5 right now it's very trendy, so it's playable one. It's look like playable one right now. Okay, Nicolo, about Petrov, e45, knight f3, knight f6, where to go. I will soon create a video course about this. So I will provide you knight e5, d6, knight f3, knight e4, knight c3 line. So you will find soon a course there, especially you are a pro member, so you will just get it. Don't worry about it. Soon you will have all material you need. King's Gambit is playable till 2200 elo player. Well, Hardik, before 2200 elo player, yeah, King's Gambit you can go. But again, if it's 2200 or 2100, yeah, if he knows the theory, there are not just one way. There are many ways where black is fine. So I encourage you to learn something more fundamental. Hardik, yeah, you just today you became a pro member, yeah. So you have access to all courses. Just go and start with Scotch. It's more fundamental, so it will be easy for you to continue to your growth. Bobby, bird opening f5. Okay, bird is fine, especially for blitz. Of course, you can go, but you need something more fundamental. E4 or d4. Sure, e4 or d4. Later, of course, you can switch to c4. You can also learn knight f3. But for your just start, how to start your chess career, yeah, it's a topic. For this, e4 or d4, it's must. Any ideas for white against e4 d5? Okay, e4 d5 Scandinavian. Soon I will also create a video course about this. We take e d5, queen d5, knight c3, and there are three different moves: queen a5, queen d8, and queen d6. They are all different lines. It's a little bit better position for white everywhere, so there will be a video course about this too. We are playing against higher opponents. It's better to change. Another question, I hear that if you are playing against higher opponents, it's better to exchange pieces. Yeah, if you want to just make a draw, if you're afraid from losing a game, yeah, you can just try to change the pieces, and make a draw. But it's very bad advice, because you don't play chess for just make a draw, right? And no matter it's your opponent strong or who is he, you just play strong chess, yeah. Myself, I can even say that it's absolutely wrong, because when you try to change the pieces against strong opponent, against very strong opponent, somewhere he will outplay you. Minimum he will outplay you. So very often lower elo players get more chance, especially that happens in simul games, when they attack. So myself, in my life, I played many simul games, hundreds, probably thousands of games. And the games when I lost, it was the games when my opponents attacked me somewhere. So when they attacked, there was a room for me that I could blunder something, and I lost. But when I was playing some amateur players and they were trying to change the piece, somewhere I was outplaying them and winning. So the only guys who survived or won me, it was the guys who checkmated me, and it's of course they did it with aggressive approach. They attacked. Changing the pieces against a higher elo player, it's very bad advice. This is of course just my opinion. Maybe it's here you heard about this from some grandmaster. I don't have anything against it, but my opinion, it's very bad advice. What do you think about French defense exchange variations as white? Okay, this is French. It's not principal one exchange line. Unit against French more aggressive line. Knight c3 against French, or knight d2, and keeping the tension. So again, it's when you play French for black, knight c3 and knight d2 are most unpleasant one, and the last is bishop d3, the very trendy line, which I offer you in video courses. I provide this bishop d3 line for white. So this is more dangerous for blacks than just exchange line. Yeah, Brad, you have a book at first move g6. Of course, you can find very useful ideas for this. It's worth learning. Yeah, it's okay. But the thing, if you play g6 at your first steps of your chess career, later it will be a little bit hard for you to develop more because you will feel less the importance of center. So when you play e4 or d4 or you play Grenfell against d4, yeah, you fight for the center. G6 of course is fine, but my advice would be to learn something more fundamental. It will be e5 or c5. c5 I provided you accelerated dragon line in the ChessMood courses. Also you are a pro member, so you will get access to all editions of this. So okay, you can go to g6, but my advice would be to go to Sicilian. Yeah, Bobby, it's cool. Yeah, Bird, it's good one for blitz. Myself, sometimes I do this play Bird. And Kole or Veresov. What do I think about Kole or Veresov? Well, it's fine. It's playable one. But if opponent know the theory part well, you don't put any problems there. So it's playable one. The same I found some the most topic about openings probably you can find in the courses is London. Because people who are chess players and a little bit smart, they realize that if they create a video course about London system, people will love it because it's very easy to learn. But in real, it's not the course that you need to develop your skills, and the same is about Kole or Veresov. It's fine, it's playable, but there are something better for growth. Up to what level can I reach without knowing opening theory? Okay, this is a good question. I like this. Is a good question. This is a really good question. I know coaches. Very good coaches, and they have very interesting technique. What they do before the student get 2000 elo level, they don't teach him any opening. They just him go and play. What's the idea? When students don't know any opening, he just learned to play good chess. He just started to he don't care about opening. Very often he get bad position, then he learn to defense. Very often he play bad good position, he know to attack. So he has good foundation of chess, just chess. And when he get 2000 elo level, a coach begin to teach him openings. Two of our members of ChessMood members, my friends, GM Andreasian, he was one of these guys. He was very talented. He was playing when we were playing Armenian Championship. Yeah, by the way, three of our guys in ChessMood team, me, Melkumian, and Andreasian, we were same age. And we were opponents. And we were crushing each other. Later we became friends, and we went out of competition. But before that, when we were just 10 years old kids, Zaven Andreasian was just crushing us. He was winning all Robin tournaments with 9 points out of 9. And the thing was, he didn't know any opening. He was just playing chess. And he knew chess he had very good foundation of chess, and he was just crushing. And after some period, his coach also taught him some openings, and very fast he became grandmaster at 17. He became grandmaster and won World Junior Championship. And the same was about Gabuzian Hovanes, our teammate. Right now his elo is 2620. He became 2300 elo without knowing really theory. He also became grandmaster when his openings was so weak. Right now his elo is 2600 elo, but for 2600 elo his openings still are very weak. But what he do, he play very strong chess. So without knowing theory, without knowing openings, if you understand the fundamentals of the opening part, if you understand what does it mean to fight for the center, if you understand what does it mean to develop your pieces, don't do two moves in the openings with one piece. So if you understand this, if you understand open lines, if you understand the initiative, how to attack, and so on, the structures, you can go very deep without openings. Just the things to start chess career with right openings, it will help more. So it's very interesting approach to teach someone chess without teaching him opening. It's interesting approach, but I believe there should be a little bit openings, not going very deep, but a little bit there should be. So Anand, my opinion, I agree with you. It's mean you are brave guys, that you don't care is your opponent higher elo or what. You just go and fight. It's cool. Don't care what other people think. Just continue with this way. Okay, Nicolo, knight a4 line that Malcolm played with you knight e4, yeah, in the simul game. Knight a4 is interesting move, but with right moves, black has fine position. If you have any problems later during one-on-one calls with pro members, you can just prepare that question, and I will show you how to play there for black. Anand, I didn't understand in French, where did you get crushed? Bishop b5 or queen g5? Sorry. When will we publish your book? The book about right mood, right? We are working right now on this, and we really hope it will be published very soon. It's gonna be motivational, it's gonna be about concentration, it's gonna be about right mood, how with just right mindset you can just in 1 month to accelerate your elo with just right mindset. Okay guys, if you have not any more question, I will say you not goodbye, I will say you see you very soon. Okay, if you still have any questions, you later can feel free to post in our ChessMood group. I will answer them. So I hope it was really the last day of your confusion. What are the best openings? And now you have good understanding from where to start. If you have any question, I'm there. We have ChessMood community, we have ChessMood family, so fill your questions there. Yeah, and of course, if you play a3, h3, or a3, rook a2, rook a1, it's of course you can win. But what we are speaking here is about the right openings for that will help you for your growth. Okay, cool. Thank you guys too. Later in our ChessMood group, please, if you have any ideas what kind of topics would you like to see next webinars, just post there. We will organize there, me or my Grandmaster friends, and we will see how we can do more, how we can bring most values there. Okay, thank you everyone, and ciao.